Hi everybody, welcome back to Hammertown. Ralph Sheheen with you live with Speed Sport, and we are enjoying the finish here of the Everyman Challenge. This event started this morning about 8 a.m. Here it is about 12 hours later, and there's still roughly 100 competitors somewhere out in the desert darkness. But we are right off the finishing podium where the finishers are coming across, and one has just made it to the finish line here. We're going to take you now right over to the podium where my colleague Pam Hall is standing by to find out how the race went for our most recent finisher here at the Everyman Challenge. Go ahead, Pam.
Thank you, Ralph. I am here with Dustin Broughton. He just endured the King of the Hammers 4,500 Yukon gear and axle race. What do you think about today's race?
It was a brutal course out there. Long day. We missed a turn, ended up doing lap one twice, ran turkey call twice. It was a long day, but Dave, awesome course.
That's what everybody keeps saying is it was an awesome course out there. What was your favorite part about the race course today?
I'm a rock guy, so I love dropping sledge, going up jack. It all was a blast.
And your co-driver, did you have to get out and do any winching, or was it a fairly easy race for you today?
We had two spots where we had to winch, and that was it. The rest of him, just him driving.
Awesome. Who do you have to thank for getting you up here finishing King of the Hammers?
Huge thank you to Winton and Marine Jondal, car owners. Winton and I built this car with a select group of people over the course of 4 years. It paid off today. Thank you for the opportunity. Happy birthday, Dad. Justin, co-dogged the Morning Desert. Doug drove it. Awesome. Nick and I just did the rocks. It was a team effort the whole way through. We got Yukon, who supports us. ADS Shocks rode awesome all day. We just got some new Mickey Thompson tires, 0 flats. Warren Winch pulled.
Well, awesome. He has one more to thank here.
Flying Apple.
Well, congratulations on your finish of the 2022 King of the Hammers. And back to you, Ralph.
All right, Pam, thank you, and congratulations to those guys on finishing the Everyman Challenge. You know, in order to finish here, not just win, but you've got to have a suspension that's capable of going extremely fast across the desert floor while at the same time crawling over boulders as big as a house. Not a very easy thing to do. But our Dave Arnold earlier today went into Hammertown to find out how the suspensions in the modern day race trucks are put together.
Hey guys, when it comes to racing, there's several key ingredients to make the race car handle. And that has to do with tires, of course. But when it comes to shocks, well, you ain't going around a track the right way without the shocks tuned properly. I'm standing over here with Albert Sarabia. Albert, you're one of the tuners here at King Shocks, and boy, setting these things up is really important, especially when you guys set them up for desert. Well, you throw some rocks in, you got a whole nother setup, spring rate, compression, rebound, all kinds of neat stuff.
Yes, in the beginning, King of the Hammers, it was all about rocks. So everybody kind of set up the shock the same way. But now, with the desert being thrown in the mix, it changes the whole game.
Now, what goes into setting these shocks? We see these beautiful King shocks right behind us. I see reservoirs. I see all kinds of adjustments on there. What do you do to these things to make them correctly perform between the desert and the rocks?
Okay, one of the best things to do it is to get bigger shocks. But now, sometimes you're limited how big of a shock you can put in the car, right? And also, you would need to be concerned about the weight that is going to increase to the car. So at that point, what we got to do is just go as small as you can, but you need to set up and just try different things, valving, pressures, all that stuff comes into the mix, yeah.
And what kind of travel do we look at? How far do these wheels drop out and recompress back into the fenders?
Yeah, most of them, they're running like a 16-inch travel in the rear and then a 14-inch travel in the front. That's just the shock, it increases, so it's probably more than that, but that's just in the shocks.
Well, you heard it from the man that sets all these things up to make all these great racers perform out on the racetrack. And when you're a king of the hammers, you got to go to the Kings, King Shocks. Back to you guys.
Just incredible what the suspensions have to be able to do to get you to the win here at the King of the Hammers. And I'm joined now by the legend himself, Ricky Johnson. RJ, you've had so much success in two wheels in motocross and supercross, and in four wheels in stock car racing and in off-road trucks. What's your experience been like here at King of the Hammers?
Well, fortunately for me, Dave Cole put me in one of the spec trucks a few years back. We came out, we did Chocolate Thunder, my son Luke Johnson, and we thought, okay, we've done Chocolate Thunder, no problem. Really, no pre-running, went out, and we were in the Everyman Challenge. And what I found out was I was not even prepared. I had no idea of the craziness that was about to ensue. And when I got to some of the sections, because I was a little bit further back, I'm like, there's no way. This can't be part of the course. I must have taken it the wrong way. But through the winching, I broke my winch line a few times. I had Brian Trotter, a Navy SEAL, in with me, who was in and out of the car so many times. He was so mad at me. But we ended up finishing second in the spec class to my son, Luke Johnson. And when you sit at the finish line, it is like a bar crazy fist fight for 8 to 10 hours, and when you get there, you're like, what did I just experience? And now you watch the level of commitment and the level of material and the things that these guys are driving. The intensity is so high now that it's not the same race as it was when I ran it.
And here we are tonight. This race started at 8 a.m. this morning, and now here we are 12 hours later, and they're still out there, 100 competitors or so, trying to make it here, and some of them won't get here.
No, but they have to clear the course by tomorrow because we have the 4,400 race, the main race, starting tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. So a lot of people, the course workers, are out there trying to winch them out because we saw in the race many times guys losing front wheel drive. We've seen drive shafts broke, and then or the motor blown or the transmission blown. Now you have to winch those vehicles out of these canyons, and a lot of times, you know, some of these guys are going to stay the night out there. So you have to have your survival kit. You need to make sure that you can light a fire, stay warm, because it is going to drop down to freezing tonight. So we got to make sure those guys are safe.
I can tell you already it's below that. It's not quite as chilly tonight as it was earlier in the week, but it's cool. We are in the middle of the Mojave Desert, so it's going to be cold out there tonight. You mentioned the Race of Kings tomorrow. That's the big one. What do you expect?
Well, every year I'm surprised. You know, you got the Lauren Healy's, which everyone's been watching his clip on Instagram and all that other stuff where he just launches it off of there. And I talked to Lauren, I'm like, was that lucky or did you try for it? He goes, no, I've been pre-running that and checking it out. So if you're a Supercross fan, which I know you are, you announced it for a lot of times, it's basically a wheel tap in an all-wheel drive truck.
This is remarkable. Explain to the viewers what he's trying to do and how he executes.
So as you come down the hill, if you jump too fast, you clear the lip, and then you end up hitting it with the back and going over. So he comes down, bounces the front, he's got all-wheel drive, so he blurps the throttle. As it shoots out, he lets off, so the back wheels will hit, and then he shoots himself off and landed flat, and he did it masterfully in qualifying. I mean, everybody all around the world, there's millions of views on it. But can a car handle that all day long?
Yeah, and if he doesn't do it right, then he's cartwheeling through the desert.
Exactly. So if you miss it just a little bit, just like a wheel tap on a motorcycle, if you bog or if you miss the RPMs or something, it's going to hit and clip and throw you over the handlebars or through the windshield in the case of an Ultra 4.
Yeah, and he's in that brand new Ford Bronco, which is just incredible. What a vehicle that has turned out to be. What do you think of the direction, the technology of the Ultra 4 4400 category, which is the top class here, where it's headed?
Well, it's completely open. We talked about this earlier, that, you know, people say, you look at a dragster, it's built for one thing, to go straight down the line. Now you bring in a NASCAR, an IndyCar with the ovals, they got to make sure they got tire stagger, or sprint cars, they got stagger, they're set to go around left. And then you put in road course, then you got off-road cars like trophy trucks that are doing all this different stuff. Now the key is making it climb through the rocks and also go over 100 miles an hour over bumps that are in some cases 2 and 3 to 4 feet tall. So this vehicle is the most dynamic, and it's open. We have single seaters. We have the Gomez brothers that are running portals in the front, an independent front and rear suspension, I-beams. Randy Slawson, our last year's champion, he's kind of old school, got the front beam, and so they feel that gives you a little bit more droop travel. It helps you through the rocks. So a lot of different philosophies, but an unbelievable show.
And it's not cheap either. I was talking to the Gomez brothers earlier today, and they were telling me that one of their single seat vehicles, you're looking at roughly $300,000 invested just into the build, not racing it, just building it, parking it in your garage.
Well, and now they're running up to 900 to 1,000 horsepower. Some are running big block. Some are running supercharged, turbocharged, anything that you want. We saw electric vehicle today. It's not quite running in the speed of the 4400s, but anything goes, and that's the thing. The 4400 class, whatever size tire you want to run, you can run it. The typical, the size that everyone's going for is 40s. They find that handles the best in the desert and also works in the rocks. A little bit smaller, like they ran today, the 37s. It actually, Randy Slawson qualified quicker in his smaller vehicle, but it doesn't help you in the rocks to bridge that gap. But if you go too big, 42s, it seems a little cumbersome in the desert, a little bit too much unsprung weight. So everyone's got a philosophy. There's a lot of great tire manufacturers out here. There's motor manufacturers, and also we got Ford back, which is awesome at the new Bronco.
And that's one of the things that's so interesting. If you come here to King of the Hammers or follow along on their live stream coverage, the creativity is so wide open. You know, in a lot of forms of motorsports these days, the rules, I don't want to say are completely spec, but they've closed it down quite a bit, choked it down quite a bit. Here, it is wide open, almost a run what you brung.
Well, and that's the thing. Does somebody feel that a straight axle in the front is going to help? Randy Slawson has ran that for years, but you see a lot of the independent. Now we're seeing independent front and rear. Everyone's trying something a little bit different, but with the rocks and the change and the dust, there's so many different things. Something works a little better one place. Randy Slawson, I'm going to say his vehicle's built for the rocks, but it doesn't handle quite as well in the desert, but he's got that figured out as he is the defending champion.
You got to get through the desert, you got to get over those boulders, and you got to make it survive. RJ, you're going to stick around with me for the show, right?
Absolutely. I'm here for the long haul.
Okay. Stay with us, folks. We're coming back to Hammertown in just a few minutes. A lot more to go as we get set for the Race of Kings, and we'll also find if anybody else crosses the finish here, the Everyman Challenge.
The all-new 2021 Ford F-150 is available with 7.2 kilowatts of electrical power. In case you ever need your truck to power your kitchen.
Let your queries be known.
Yeah, hi. Instead of letting passengers wrap their arms around us, can we put little handles on our jackets?
Deny.
Can you imagine?
I want a new nickname. Can you guys start calling me Snake?
No, Brian.
Denied.
How about we all get quotes to see if we can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer?
Approved.
Cool. Hey, if Brian's not going to be Snake, can I be Snake?
No.
Well, we are back here in Hammertown. Welcome in to Speed Sport Live here at King of the Hammers. The Everyman Challenge started about 8 a.m. this morning. Another competitor just made their way out of the desert. Let's go right to Pam Hall to meet him.
Thank you, Ralph. I am here with Greg Neff. He is in the Racer Coffee Company vehicle. Racer has been keeping us all fueled this whole week. How was your race today?
It was a long day. We had a great first lap. We were moving right along. We went in and went into a bump too hard. We blew part of the steering ram out. We had to stop, put it all back together. Then we lost a rear drive shaft. We had to stop, change that out. And then we brought it home. But it was certainly a long day, a lot of wrenches turned. But thanks to everybody that helped us get here. Racer Coffee for sponsoring the car, and wife and kids at home, mom and dad at home. Yeah. Co-driver, awesome job. Lots of winching today, unfortunately, with those damaged parts. But it was a great day. Happy to be here.
So what was your favorite part about the race course today?
Favorite part about the course has got to be the back lake bed. We were up to 110 across the lake bed, just screaming at each other the whole time, and there's just no feeling like that in the world.
That's awesome. Who else do you have to thank besides Racer Coffee Company to get you up here?
Raceline Wheels, Rough Stuff Specialties, Warren Winch, TJM Pro Locker. Everything was flawless all day. I mean, no flats, thankfully. Nitto for keeping us moving forward. So, yeah, otherwise a flawless day except for those two things. But
well, congratulations on being up here, finishing the 2022 Progressive Insurance King of the Hammers. and you can now go relax and have a good time. Back to you, Ralph.
All right, Pam, thank you. And one of the things that's so cool about here at King of the Hammers is it's not just the winner or the top three that get to go across the podium here, Ricky. It's everybody. If you make it to the finish, you get your moment in the sun or the darkness, as the case may be, as a king and or a queen of the Hammers.
Well, the thing is, and Brian Deegan said it best. It was awesome to see him out here. He won the challenge in the grudge match at the UTV event. As he said, these are enthusiasts. If you're out here in the Hammers, I don't care if you got tires on your Toyota, whatever it might be. If you drive out there, you're an enthusiast. And if you're putting up with this dust and all these people, it's not just fans, but enthusiasts. And that's what's awesome, and that's what drives our sport.
Every competitor here at King of the Hammers is celebrated, and rightly so. And you know what? They don't just race during the day here. They race at night. They're always finding something to do. And we found some racing last night called the Crazy Carts.
We're here at the Tanner Faust Trailer Park Drift. Lots of fun action. We've had concerts all week long. Now they're racing crazy carts on the track. Such an awesome time out here. Well, Christopher Pavardi, the big winner tonight. And boy, Optima Batteries really bringing this event to the next level. All kinds of craziness happening at King of the Hammers. You gotta be here and check it out. We're here with the winner from the Tanner Faust Trailer Park Drift, hanging out in the Optima Batteries driver, well, Christopher Pavardi. Well, you got to win on Sunday in the T2. Well, now you just won the crazy car race.
I know, it was a big deal tonight. It's super fun. You know, there was a lot of big names, and it was pretty fun to go out here drift with. In the beginning of the night, I was asking what are the rules of drifting, and by the end of the night, we were having a fun time, door to door with Tanner Faust, Chris Forsberg. It was definitely an event that I'll look forward to next year.
Well, it's just so cool. All the things that go on at King of the Hammers. And you guys, got together with Tanner, Optima Batteries. Thought you were going to have a little fun out here. Well, it turned into a bit of a race.
It all starts for charity here, but as soon as bragging rights get involved, it gets serious. And we put the helmets on, and it was a lot of fun. These guys put up one heck of a race, and it blew my expectations. I knew it was going to be fun, but I didn't think it was going to be this fun.
Well, I understand all the money raised tonight for this was for a charity. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so all the money raised tonight will go to the Little Warrior Foundation. Super awesome charity. They're in pediatric cancer, and I was lucky enough, since I won, I get a $500 donation for them in my name. Last year, I had the opportunity to meet everyone at Little Warrior Foundation, even Lucy, who the foundation was started for, and they're amazing. And now Lucy's on her way to recovery. They raised over $1 million, and I hope you're able to help a little tonight while also having a bunch of fun.
Well, lots of fun to be had here at King of the Hammers, hanging out in the Optima Batteries pit and giving back. That's what it's all about here. All about fun, family, and taking care of other people. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Dave. And boy, they are racing something everywhere here at King of the Hammers.
Well, I was there last night. You had world-class drifters. You had some newbies coming out. And Christopher Pavardi did exactly what he did in the T2 race. He went out and put everybody down. It was unbelievable. It was a great show. Tanner Faust put that on for everybody for the Young Warrior Project. They raised some great money. It's all fun. And, of course, that's what's happening out here at King of the Hammers.
One vehicle everybody's going to be chasing tomorrow is the brand new Ford Bronco. And joining us on set to talk about this new vehicle and how strong it's performing is a man in charge of all things globally racing-wise for Ford, Mark Rushbrook. Mark, great to see you. Welcome to the set. Boy, you guys have knocked it out of the park with the Bronco.
Yeah, we are so happy to be here. We love coming to King of Hammers, and the Everyman Challenge gives us the opportunity to show what the Ford Bronco is all about.
And this is just one platform for the Bronco in off-road racing. You have a lot of things happening with it.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of Broncos on the street with a Bronco Sport, the Bronco Raptor that we just unveiled last week. But in racing, we started with a Bronco R at the Baja 1000 2 years ago. Gives us the opportunity to prove out some of our architecture and platform and powertrain. And now we're also offering the Bronco DR that we're going to sell to customers. We showed that a couple months ago. We'll start selling those. People can buy it turnkey and go racing and off-road racing. But this is important to us to be here at King of the Hammers. So we worked with some great partners to develop the Bronco 4600, and it's just such a great place to show the capability of the product in front of some really passionate fans that really relate to Ford. And we can just show everything that Ford is about. And then tomorrow with the Bronco 4400 is another opportunity for that.
Well, Mark, I got to say, as a racer and as a fan, I got to race with and against the Rough Riders back in the 90s. And to see the kind of effort that Ford is coming back with everybody, you got stars like Lauren Healy, you work with Kurt LeDuc, obviously Bailey Cole, the list goes on and on, Von Gittin Jr., and also Lauren Healy. And that's just some of them. It's really awesome to see the manufacturer getting back into the sport because trucks are what it's all about right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So when the company took the decision to bring the Bronco back to the street to sell it, we knew that to prove the credibility of that product, the roots are in off-road racing. Part of the fabric of Ford Motor Company is motorsports in all different disciplines around the world. But off-road racing is somewhere we needed to get back into, and you can't do that just starting it up from scratch inside the company. So we found some great partners outside the company, and we worked with them to develop components, to develop the vehicles, all those names you mentioned with RTR, Von Gittin, Brad Lovell and his team,
Yep.
his family, Bailey Cole and Jason Shear, Lauren Healy, everybody. Just a great family effort to work together.
Well, and it says a lot about the significance of the King of the Hammers if the head of Ford globally, when it comes to racing, is taking the time out of his schedule to get here, be here, and to mingle with the fans. And
I love
Ford
it here.
has a massive presence here.
But Ralph, they didn't dabble. They tackled the Baja 1000 and the King of the Hammer. So they basically said, what are the two most brutal off-road races in America, or in North America, I should say, and you brought those vehicles out. So kudos to Ford to having that kind of moxie to step right into the main event. So what was the strategy there? I mean, because you're like, didn't dabble, oh, let's do the 250, the 500, let's do that. You guys jumped right in with both feet.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time about 3 years ago researching what is off-road motorsports today. We had a lot of history, like you said, with Rod Hall and the Baja 1000 and with the Rough Riders. Such great success with that. So we did a lot of research. What is it today? And a lot of it is score racing and the Baja 1000. But this is new. This wasn't around in the past. And what Dave Cole has created with this, the passionate people that are here, the number of spectators, and they're real off-roaders themselves. So we came in here, we immersed ourselves, we got to know the people and found some great partners, and we're so happy with the team effort that we had out on the course today.
Congratulations.
Mark, you've seen racing worldwide. You've been to all the major events. I've been talking about it all week, comparing it to things I've seen. For you to make a decision to come here to be a King of the Hammers, can you put it on a global scale for Ford as to how important having a presence here at King of the Hammers is compared to, I don't want to say bigger or better than some of the other things Ford is doing, but just on the level of importance?
Yeah, I mean, comparing to other motorsport series, right? It's, for us, sports car racing, 24 Hours of Le Mans was a big one. This is just like that. The Daytona 500, a big one. Indianapolis 500, our history there in the past. Those are all big races, but this is a big race, and this is where we wanted to be. So we've invested with our engineers, with our marketing team, and we're here with a commitment.
Well, as a driver, I got to ask you. You got from Bailey Cole to Kurt LeDuc. I'm gonna bookend them. You got the legend Kurt LeDuc, and you got the youngster Bailey Cole. How much input are all of these drivers giving you on that, or is it more the engineers and then they're just kind of fine tuning it? How much do you work with the driver?
No, absolutely. The drivers know what's going on with the car, so they give us a lot of input. They know what it needs to do in all these different situations. But we also have a lot of data. We have a lot of engineers. So I think you saw a good group of engineers from our team here, whether it's powertrain or calibration or suspension. We had a great effort from those engineers, but we couldn't do it without these real off-road racers to help guide us with what it takes to be successful.
Well, as a fan, I can tell you we're all thrilled and excited to see Ford bring the Bronco back and your commitment to off-road racing. You talked about the new vehicles you've already unveiled with the Bronco. What's coming down the road that you can tell us? I mean, just a little bit, just a live TV audience.
I can't tell you any of that.
Nothing, you give us a little hint?
Well, I think you can see that we're committed to the brands that we have, right? As Ford as a total company, with Mustang as a street car, with Bronco, those are really important brands for us, F-Series and trucks. So we're placing a lot of emphasis there. We know that off-road is a big growing market, so that's why we're here with a Bronco and other derivatives that you'll see from that.
Well, it's obvious they're not just here for a little bit. They're here for a big play. We're going to see the Bronco and Ford here for a long time. Thank you for coming and being on the show and for being here. King of the Hammers.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We love being here.
And best of luck. I know you got a big one on Sundays too. Okay, we're coming right back to Hammertown. Stay with us, a lot more for you with Speed Sport Live.
The all-new 2021 Ford F-150 is available with 7.2 kilowatts of electrical power in case you ever need your truck to power your kitchen.
Let your queries be known.
Yeah, hi. Instead of letting passengers wrap their arms around us, can we put little handles on our jackets?
Deny.
Can you imagine?
I want a new nickname. Can you guys start calling me Snake?
No, Brian.
Denied.
How about we all get quotes to see if we can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer?
Approved.
Cool. Hey, if Brian's not going to be Snake, can I be Snake?
No.
Welcome back to Speed Sport. I'm Ricky Johnson. You know, in Supercross, in motocross, short course, it doesn't matter. There was never a winch involved. But so I decided to grab Ralph and send him off to get the most important piece of equipment if you need it. So Ralph is looking for some winches.
As incredible as tires are in off-road racing these days, and the amazing ability of the suspensions, sometimes you just can't get over the obstacle. That is when you turn to the winch. Okay, Shannon Campbell, when do you make the decision it's time to get out and utilize the winch?
That changes all the time. It depends if you're stuck and you just absolutely need the winch, and sometimes it's for strategy to make sure you don't break the car to use the winch. Sometimes we use the winch to get over an obstacle. Sometimes we use the winch to repair the car. Sometimes we have an obstacle that we go up back door and we have to go out on a full loop, and you don't want to break your car before that loop because you can't come back here and repair it. So we'll just initially go right there, hook up and winch up just for strategy. But sometimes, you get out there and you're just beating on the car and you don't want to break an axle or break something, or sometimes you just can't get the car up, and that's last resort. You have to use the winch.
You're in a single-seater vehicle, so how difficult is it for you to get out and use the winch?
It's a pain in the butt to unbuckle and get out and hook yourself up and then get back in and winch, and it's a pain in the butt. But for the most part, I have all my controls in my dash where I can just reach up, and once it's hooked up, I just run the control and everything works good.
It's basically just a toggle switch?
Yeah, we got a air actuated, actually, that you flip the air valve and it full spool or free spools it so that you don't have the drag of the motor, and it will drag out freely, and then you lock that back up, and then you have a toggle switch that runs your in and out. And then I have a 24-volt switch. This winch has been highly modified with gearing and stuff, and the 24-volt winch just makes it where it really moves. So like when you're in a hurry, you can flip it up to 24, and this thing, it's like you can ski behind it almost.
Obviously, racers are always thinking about weight. How much does that winch weigh? And
this winch that's 75 to 80 pounds. It's pretty heavy, but it's a necessity. When we go short course racing or something, we'll take the winch out of the car just to get the weight off the nose. But out here, anything where there's winching involved, trees or obstacles we might not be able to make, that winch is in there.
Safe to say, if you're going to win here at King of the Hammers, quite possibly the #1 component you have to have on your vehicle is a really good winch.
You know, if this main host thing doesn't work out for Ralph, I kind of like sending him out to find out some information. So excellent job on your feature on the winches.
Thank you. Thank you. And you're going to need it tomorrow if you want to win the Race of Kings. There's no way around it. And joining us now is a man who has won it 3 times, and he's the reigning champion here at the Race of Kings, Randy Slawson. Some video of you on your way to victory just a year ago here, the King of the Hammers. What's it going to take, Randy, to get another victory tomorrow?
A lot of luck.
Well, I disagree with that. Okay, you're a very humble guy. Last year you started in the mid-20s. You were invisible for most of the race, but doing work as you do. This is your race. This is the one that you focus on. You don't do all the Ultra 4 series. he was invisible. Then all of a sudden, he's in the mix. He's catching guys. We're like, wait a minute. We start doing the math. Corrected time. He's winning the race, and sure enough, comes across the line and wins it again. Third or fourth? Three times in defending champions. So obviously, you don't mind starting. The dust doesn't bother you that much, but you seem to eat people up in the rocks.
Yeah, I live for the rocks. I love rock crawling, and my car's really set up great for that. It's a lot lighter and a lot more nimble than a lot of these other cars, and my solid axle just really does work in the big rocks.
And that's what we're talking about with the solid axle. It leans a little bit more, gives you a little bit more traction. Do you feel it's just a tougher when it comes to you can lean harder on one tire or the other when you're climbing the rocks?
It just makes really good ground pressure, keeps pressure on the tires and keeps making traction. Has good ground clearance, and we've got our suspension super dialed where we can just really carry a nice clip through the rocks and keep a lot of momentum going. I rock crawl more than I'd like to think any of the other competitors on the regular, out every weekend playing, and it's my game, it's my jam, it's what I love doing. So tearing these guys up in the rocks is my happy place.
When you look at the layout of the circuit here, would you say it's about 80% desert and 20% rock crawling?
Man, I haven't broke it down like that. You spend more time probably in the rocks, but mileage-wise, yeah, it's probably something like that.
So there's a mindset to rock crawling and getting through the rocks here fast. Explain to the viewers what kind of mindset you have to be good in the rocks.
Well, it's just really important to be in touch with your vehicle. It's really important to be able to read the rocks and understand what's going on, and to have the bump. The bump is so important, being able to roll into it with just enough energy to carry you through and not get stuck, not have to back up.
Well, that's one of the things. Look at him. Very cool, very calm. I know that when I was in there, I was having a hard time focusing, like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm doing. But he's so comfortable in the rocks. And as he said, it's the momentum. It's not blast of speed. Sometimes you have to throw all that horsepower in to jump up and over stuff. But I'm going to say 90% of the time, Randy, you keep it flowing. You try to stop as minimal as possible. Is that true?
Yeah, it's just being steady and consistent for sure.
How far ahead do you look? Are you looking at the rock right in front of you, or are you looking 3-4 rocks ahead?
You can't see the rock directly in front of you. You need to be, it's a chess game. You got to plan several moves ahead and make sure you're setting yourself up for success.
Well, I got to say, I was a couple years ago when I did the spec truck, I was looking at getting into 4400, and I was always eyeballing your chassis because I watched it in slow-mo, and yours for a straight axle front, between you and Eric Miller, I say you guys are the two top guys. You guys have obviously done very, very well with that, but I like the way that yours flows. You've gotten yours to where it runs really proud, and I think your top speed is a little higher than other straight axle cars through the bumps. How much work did you do to perfect the desert side of your truck?
I'm sponsored by King Shocks. I work with the Rebay a lot. He claims that he's worked on my car more than anybody else's rock crawler. I don't know if that's true or not, but we've worked on them a lot. Every time I build a new one, we kind of start over a little bit. We learned from the last one, but we like to bring some new things to the table. This new car that I just finished and I'm racing tomorrow has 3.5 bypass shocks on it, where I've been running a 3.0. And so far, it's pretty amazing. We've been messing around with it. I was just over off Soggy, running up through some quad bumps and running 90 mile an hour in the bumps. It's pretty exciting.
So a couple things. I'm going to ask you a two-part question. One is, you qualified on the pole. That's not normal for you, but tell us about the difference.
EMC.
But still, you went faster in your Everyman Challenge car. No, you didn't.
That is incorrect.
That is not true. Okay.
It was a
Jim Marsden
212
lied to me.
in EMC and a 209, I believe, in my 4400 car. So.
And part two is, you have to be so proud of the different guys. Dan Fresh won today in one of your cars. Yeah. So many bomber chassis were out there rocking and rolling today.
Caprera, he came in third, and he won last year. So that was 2 out of 3 in the top in bomber cars this go-round. I was pretty stoked on that.
Randy, obviously you come in as one of the top favorites, the defending champion, 3-time winner of the event. size up the rest of the competition, the guys that you're going to be keeping an eye on or wanting to know where they are.
Well, the other kings obviously are serious threats. You know, Eric and Jason and Lauren. You know, there's a lot of guys out there that you got to keep your eye on. There's a number of other guys that haven't quite got it all together. Horschel is super fast. Trying to think of some other names. There's a lot of talent out there, and there's going to be some new faces at some point.
You going to sleep good tonight, or are you going to be up?
Man, I hope I sleep good.
I hope you do too. Best of luck tomorrow. Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Well, we are going to wrap things up here at the King of the Hammers. Stay with us here for a little bit more from Speed Sport, live from Hammertown.
The all-new 2021 Ford F-150 is available with 7.2 kilowatts of electrical power, in case you ever need your truck to power your kitchen.
Let your queries be known.
Yeah, hi. Instead of letting passengers wrap their arms around us, can we put little handles on our jackets?
Deny.
Can you imagine?
I want a new nickname. Can you guys start calling me Snake?
No, Brian.
Denied.
How about we all get quotes to see if we can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer?
Approved.
Cool. Hey, if Brian's not going to be Snake, can I be Snake?
No.
And we are back with Speed Sport live from here in Hammertown. And Ricky, I believe the long course is some 80 plus miles around here, right?
Yep, 70 plus and 80 plus.
Yeah. So there's hundreds of volunteers needed to work this event. And we couldn't do it without them, as Dave Arnold found out.
Hey guys, we've moved down the course just a little bit, and I ran into Mark, a good friend of mine now, and Mark, you're one of the volunteers. What's going on here? Why do you come out here? Why do you volunteer? I mean, how many sandwiches do they pay you? You know, they give you free water bottles. What brings you to this point?
Just, you know, it's a great event, and it's nice to be able to help out.
The racing. Are you a big fan of racing, or you just love the desert?
Fan of racing. You know, I started off driving drag cars when I was a kid, and then as I've gotten older, I've gravitated towards the four-wheel drive stuff.
So what exactly is your job out here?
Just basically manning this point, making sure people stay off the racetrack.
Thanks, Mark, for doing that. Hey, man, volunteer life, not bad. Couple sandwiches, you get to watch a race for free. I'm in. You're not seeing devil. They're friends, not sisters. Parents weren't cruel. Didn't name them both Kylie. Ladies, why do you do this?
I do this because this is my hometown. This is something to do out here. I love keeping the people safe, and I've always been off-roading. I've been watching this since I was a little girl, and I just always loved the event. I have a big heart for out here.
Well, I won't have to step far to the other Kylie. Kylie, what brings you here also?
She offered me a trip out here, and I took it. It's something kind of new. I used to come out here as a little kid with my mom.
Plus, you get to watch a really cool racing action.
Definitely. Seeing people coming down the back door and almost flipping.
Well, did you guys request? I want the rock section. I want to see some action, or don't put me out in the desert. I want to see some cool stuff, right?
I've always been put out to the desert and the straightaways. That's always a cool spot, but right here is a really cool spot. Met some really cool people, and everyone out here is really cool and nice to talk to. We're actually camped out here in our trailer, so.
Well, awesome. I didn't involve though, but guys, you got a little bit of taste of what it takes here to put on King of the Hammers, the volunteers, such a big part. Back to you, Ralph and Pam.
Racing can't take place anywhere in the world without the volunteers.
Absolutely.
And it's so great to have so many of them here at King of the Hammers. Dan Fresh won his 4th Everyman Challenge earlier today. Congratulations, you did it again. Tell us a little bit about the experience this afternoon.
You know what, being it's the 4th time, a lot of pressure this time.
moved to a different class. I've been in 4500, which is EMC class as well. It's called a modified vehicle. This is a Legends vehicle. It's most of the older 45 or 4400 vehicles that have been modified for the class. And there was a lot of pressure today to try to get it up front, and the guys did just an amazing job. Couldn't do it without them, obviously, but it was a great feat.
Well, watching the race, Randy Slawson, also the builder of your bomber chassis that you raced and won in today, was on the pole and out in front and not running away, but you guys had a very good pace going. How much communication are you getting from your pit? Because you're down in those canyons, unless you have a satellite radio, you're not going to hear what's going on. You're running your own race.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So when we're out there, it's very difficult, especially our tracker wasn't working very good today. So getting updates, what we heard like 30 miles from the finish line is we were 1:09 down on corrected time. Chase Caprera was back there coming after us. And so we laid it down the last 30 miles and really overdrove the equipment. I don't like doing that. I'm more of one of the guys that likes to finish. And we really overdrove it towards the end there, but it's difficult to get updates out here. Obviously, with all these mountains and canyons, you mentioned satellite. I do have satellite on my vehicle. That didn't work either. So, it was crazy to think that we were going to actually win it again. And then when you do roll across the finish line, they give you the timer and you're watching. You've got to wait 25 minutes to see if you actually won. Yeah, huge relief.
Well, don't leave us just yet. We had another finisher just come up onto the podium here, so we want to go celebrate them and their efforts here this afternoon and evening. Let's go up onto the podium. Here's Pam Hall once again.
I am here with the 4689 of Braxton Glimes. How are you this evening?
We are glad to be here. Tired, and what a heck of a week.
It's definitely been a week for you. You've been out there pre-running and doing your homework?
We have. Not near enough, but the little bit that we got to do paid off.
So you and your dad, you guys share driving duties, correct?
We do. Yep, he drove the first lap, and then me and Mike here, the co-driver, got in and did the second lap.
Did you guys have any issues today, or was it pretty smooth and having fun, or what was going on out there for you?
We had one flat tire, and at one point the engine temp said it was about 260, but we backed off of it and took it easy and cooled off, and no issues other than that.
Well, that was awesome that you actually came up here and finished the 2022 Progressive Insurance King of the Hammers. How do you feel about that?
What an experience. It is, hardest race that we've done, and this is the first race I've driven, so what an experience. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Lone Peak Collision, Impulse Off-Road, Terraflex, RST Brands, MRT Tires has been a super great help. These tires were unbelievable. The one flat that I got, I don't know if Kendall got a flat or not. It sounds like he's got one flat, I got one flat. That couldn't ask for any better. We've got Nemesis Industries and PCI Radios and Light Nights out of Las Vegas. And Optima has been a super huge help, and they help get us all out here every year, so we're glad to have their sticker on our car.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Time to party. And we are now going to hand it back down to Mr. Ralph Sheheen. And congratulations.
And we got to thank this guy, motherfucking Chance Lee!
Back to you, Ralph.
Thank you, Pam. Dan, we're just watching these guys finish here, and we were talking about how cool it is that all the competitors, if they make it to the finish, get their moment in the lights up on the stage.
Yeah, that's incredible. In so many sports, you only get the podium guys. Your top three is all you get to see. And here we get to share this with our friends and our families and our sponsors and actually get our moment. Whether you're first place or 100th position, like you said, how many cars are out there today? It's overwhelming that we get to do this in front of so many great fans.
So Dan, the magnitude of this race, how many years have you been racing? We talked about this off stage. How many years have you been racing? You're racing the Baja 1000 this year in a spec truck, but so many years there, but everybody knows you from the King of the Hammers.
I know, it's kind of a strange thing, Ricky. So, I've been racing for over 20 years of off-road. Got started racing motocross, as did you. And now, since 2018, I won my first King of the Hammers, and now everyone knows who you are from that. And so they don't ever ask me, hey, you're a desert guy. No, they don't even think of my desert career, and even though that's really my heart and soul where it's at. But no, it's all about the rocks.
So when they see you down in the desert, like, you know what, you're not that bad for a rock racer.
That's a good one. Yeah, no kidding. I'm not half. You know what? When I'm out there in my heart and I'm doing the rocks, I'm like, I'm not that good at these rocks, but I'm really good out there at the desert, and that helps me on that lap one.
Listen, Mother Nature comes out here and moves things around each and every year. The course is never quite the same, right? How gnarly was this year's layout compared to what you've seen in the past?
This was by far the hardest King of the Hammers I've done. It's like the rocks were just, nothing makes sense right now. And I can't explain why. There's just nuisance rocks everywhere, and they're not small. There's half the size of a tire. So when you're trying to roll through them and you're hitting your front axle and everything on them, it's very, very difficult. And to be able to dodge through all those things and not get stuck, it's almost impossible. So we do winch. No, we don't want to winch because that takes a lot of time to get a guy out of the car and get winching. So we had to winch a couple times today, not to mention a few flat tires that we accidentally got that I well deserved, by the way. But no, it was super brutal course, over the top compared to normal.
So you hit that one rock, and you got a flat. Being totally sarcastic. Now, as you said with this race, and as he says, Mother Nature plays a big when the rains come and move everything down. But right now, it's the other vehicles, all the pre-running, all the racing and stuff like that. As they're coming through, the drivers are pushing back and forth. That's 10,000 pounds of vehicles moving these rocks around. They weigh a couple tons. So tomorrow, how do you think that's going to play out? Because this track has been driven a lot. When we saw you go through Chocolate Thunder, you zipped right through, not a problem. Everybody after that, they were spreading dirt all over the rocks and getting stuck. So how bad is this track beat up, and how tough is it going to be for the 4400s?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really tough on the 4400s tomorrow. For one thing, we're doing 3 laps tomorrow. We're not doing 2. And that third lap, they throw a bunch of stuff at us that we don't normally do. So I think it's going to be a lot tougher tomorrow. The only good thing I can say is today we all ran 37-inch tall tires. That's the biggest we're allowed to run. So we're kind of combing the rocks with those straight axles that we run and kind of knocking that stuff down. So tomorrow when everybody gets out there on 40s and 42s and even bigger, we're going to be able to miss some of those things. So I think there's going to be a pro and a con, but we did mess the desert up out there today with a lot of sharp edge bumps. You get that many cars running over a desert lap like that, the whoops are bigger. A lot more square edge. It's going to be a tough day. Not expecting to see anybody back here before dark tomorrow, quite honestly.
Dan, they call it the Everyman Challenge, which means anybody can maybe put something together and come out and compete in this event. If somebody at home is thinking, boy, I'd love to try that, how would you say they should get started?
I was really fortunate that I ran into a great sponsor that wanted to help me out in this program. To get started, you know what? I would call a guy like Randy Slawson, quite honestly. I'm running a bomber car. They're not that expensive compared to a lot of the other racing that I do. You get a Randy chassis, and if you and your buddies want to start trying to put something together, it's not that difficult. They're very simple vehicles compared to a lot of like the trophy trucks and things like that.
Well, but I would like to also recommend, if you've never done any kind of rock car or anything like that, go out and buy an XJ. I got 2 of them. I use them for schools. It teaches you how to use your left feet, how to do some climbing. I would not recommend jumping right into doing King of the Hammers. Go out and do some four-wheeling. Make sure you get a good winch. Make sure you have friends. Make sure you're safe. Make sure you wear a helmet, something to protect yourself, because all it takes is a little slap on the roll cage. So think about your safety first, but get out and do some wheeling. That's one thing about you and Randy Slawson. You guys are out here, just go playing. It's not always race. It's about the whole environment and the whole attitude of everybody. So if you want to go out and you want to start doing some wheeling, go find yourself a cheap Jeep, call Rusty, have him put some parts on that thing, and get out there.
Yeah, you're going to learn every time you're in it, right?
Absolutely.
Every time. Well, Dan, thank you so much for coming by. Congratulations on number 4. And if you think this was pressure-packed, wait till next year. Now you're going to go after 5. Everybody's going to be looking for you. Well, the big race is tomorrow. So here's a look ahead as to what you can expect to see from here at Hammertown and the King of the Hammers as they go for the Race of Kings. Tomorrow, brought to you by Nitto, presented by Optima Batteries. It kicks off at 8 a.m. And then Pennywise wraps everything up here tomorrow night, 10:45. I know where I'm going to be. Where are you going to be, RJ?
I'll be heading home to my wife. I've been out here for almost 2 weeks, and I love Hammertown, and I would love to see Pennywise, but it's time to get home to Stephanie.
Okay, sounds great. It's going to be a lot of fun out here tomorrow. Stay with us at Speed Sport through all of our social media pages and everything as we bring you all the coverage of the Race of Kings. I'm Ralph Sheheen for Ricky Johnson and Dan Fresh. Thanks for joining us here tonight, live with Speed Sport from Hammertown at King of the Hammers 2022. Good night, everybody. Thanks, pal. Appreciate it.
Great to meet you.
Yeah, you too as well.